I'd like to welcome you all to the Administration Meeting, Finance Fire Committee Meeting, number 9 for 2017. My name is Councilor Terry Bell, and I will be chairing this meeting. I will now call the meeting to order. Are there sign-in sheets to the left on the tables? Please read and sign in on the appropriate sheet if you wish to be informed of the outcome of items on the sign-in sheet. Just a reminder, the members of council and the public, all cell phones, pagers, PDAs are to be turned off. Additionally, for your information, we are audio, video, and recording this meeting. You may view it on the Township YouTube channel 24 to 48 hours after the close of this meeting. Are there any changes in order of Council Bills?
Yeah, I'd like to move that. Just kidding, sorry.
Okay. Yeah. Are there any disclosures of pecuniary interest and/or conflict of interest? Seeing none. We have no appointments. Request to address any items on the agenda. Seeing none. Next, Fire Department update, item A 105-17. Chief Fisher, it's yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Very short. Station 1 had 12 calls. Station 2 had 2, and Pelham had 2 down at the east end. Not a whole lot going on in the month of November. Grade 5 class was in for public education and a hall tour from Covenant Christian School. Both stations were in the Santa Claus Parade last Saturday. And just to give you a brief update on Bill 148, as you all know, it passed Royal Assent on the 27th of November. And I had mentioned that we had a legal opinion from the corporate lawyer saying that you were exempt from the 3 hours. Having said that, our neighboring municipality in Lincoln, the fire chief got a legal opinion from their lawyers over in Toronto, and they're of the opposite of opinion as ours. So it'll be interesting to see in the next coming months what the interpretation ends up being and what regulations come out in the Employment Standards Act. I will be attending a labor relations seminar over in Toronto on the 16th of January with Hicks Morley, who is the lawyer for the OAFC. So I haven't got a legal opinion from them through the OAFC, but they have a seminar on the 16th, so hopefully I will know more. I do have some concerns in regards, because it's only going to take one fire department in the province of Ontario to either fight it and arbitrarily win, and then that'll set the precedent across the province. So I'm of the opinion right now that I'm going to look at it that they will get paid. I'm thinking worst case scenario right now for me in regards to it. Because at the end of the day, I believe that no matter whether we like it or not, I think across the province it's going to be that way. That's my opinion, but hopefully not. But I can certainly see it going that way. Other than that, like I say, it was funny that the Lincoln's lawyers were the opposite of ours. But Hicks Morley will set the tone because they're the big players in Toronto. So we'll see what they say on the 16th, and I'll be back to kind of give you an update. But I think somebody's going to challenge it because there's volunteer unions out there that will challenge it.
Mr. Chair, I really wonder if we should be going into camera for some of this explanation. This is union bargaining, negotiating, and regardless of the opinion being the chief's, I just want to make sure that we're in the appropriate venue. That's all I'm asking.
I believe Councilor Chichuk what Chief Fisher's stating is the bill itself and what his understanding is, and it's pretty much public knowledge. It's out there. Madam CEO?
Through you, members of the committee, there's certainly a lot of discussion going on regarding the interpretation of some of the changes that have come forward. There's going to be decisions made, and we'll be able to report to you once we get a clear understanding of what is exactly right. It's very gray, and it's still out there, and so we will report back, and hopefully it'll be to our advantage, but I'm sure, as you know, some of it will not. It will impact us. On this one, we'll wait, and we'll come to you when we have a firm decision with respect to that issue.
Okay, thank you. Any questions, comments? Seeing none. Thank you, Chief Fisher. Consent agenda, seeing none. Communications, seeing none. Staff reports, seeing none. Other business, item A106-17, Acting CEO Clerk Carolyn Langley.
Through to members of the committee, as is a standing item on the agenda, if there are any members of our staff who successfully complete a course, we bring it to your attention. Steve McGreen, as you are aware, I think you got an email from a successful completion of the Public Works Leadership Development Program that's provided by the Association of Ontario Road Supervisors. So we commend Mr. McGreen for his efforts and his successful completion of the course.
Great. Any comments? Okay. Item A107-17, members of committee, verbal updates. Members boards, seeing none. Item A108-17, members of committee, other business, items informative nature. Seeing none. So, Mayor
Thank you, Mr.
Turner?
Chair, I was just going to just say that at a regional council meeting this Thursday, December 7th, will be the vote for West Lincoln getting another regional councillor, and that will be the first part. If that passes, then it will be distributed to all 12 municipalities, and that'll form the triple majority vote. So if you would like to come and watch, please do.
Starts at 6:30. Anyone else? Oh, seeing none, okay. New business, Ms. Langley?
Through you to members of the committee, late this afternoon, I was approached by our Director of Public Works and Engineering with respect to the project that is currently underway that relates to the sanitary sewer replacement, which is the project for Thompson Road. And what has happened, and I'll just read you, he gave me a little bit of information here. The road condition on Thompson has degraded due to the construction activity, and that would be because of all the heavy truck traffic with respect to putting in this new sewer pipe. This is not the contractor's fault, but just the road surface giving out. We won't know the condition until the road is backfilled and cleaned later this week. So the problem is that there is a cost in the contract, I believe, of $10,000 to repave the section of the road where they were digging to put a new pipe. However, because of the traffic, the whole road needs to be redone, which is significantly more. If we don't do it, we would lose the $10,000 that's been allocated towards the little repair. But the increased repair is anywhere from, and I'm going to be gracious to myself, say 30 to 60,000. He figured no more than 50, but I got to give myself some leeway. The recommendation after talking to Donna, our treasurer, is that that this should be done. Time is of the essence. That's why it's an emergency item. Because of the weather, if we don't get them, if they determine it needs to be done, it has to be done now before the frost kicks in. So I have before you, we need to put, first of all, a new item of business on and have a mover and a seconder to approve it, and then a motion, which I will read to you after you approve new item of business.
Councilor Chicha? Oh,
I'll move it.
okay. Seconder? Councilor Trivetta?
And it would read that leave be granted to introduce a new item of business, being emergency funding approval required relating to sanitary sewer replacement project for Thompson Road. So you have to vote on that before I can tell you the motion.
Any questions? All in favor?
It's already,
Voting.
all those in favor.
Carries.
All right, so the motion that I have drafted reads as follows, that the acting CAO/clerk be and is hereby delegated the authority to approve road rehabilitation works on Thompson Road relating to the sanitary sewer replacement project on Thompson Road at an approximate amount of between $30,000 to $60,000, and that this approval is granted prior to ratification by council, and that the funds be taken from the sewer reserve, and that the appropriate amendment to budget be brought forward at a later date. So in order to move quickly, this would give me that authority, and it would give me the authority to approve the expenditure that's not included in the budget, but we would fund it from the sewer reserve.
Questions, comments? Mayor Jordan?
So,
We need a second.
Ms. Langley, is it the entire, is it from Spring Creek all the way down
Davis?
Dave?
to the bend?
Through you to members of the committee, it isn't a very long section. It does, I believe, run into the intersection, though. I don't have a clear understanding of how big it is, not very long. But it is the portion of the road that's affected by the sewer project. And I can get you more details and send them to you, but this is the cost information that I received today, and it would save us really in the long run if we just go ahead and do it. It isn't in the 5-year plan to be replaced, but given that it has deteriorated a lot, this would be appropriate, and there is money in the reserve.
So just in an email, could you just send us a quick email to say from where to where, that's all?
Absolutely, no problem.
Councilor Trivetta?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Carolyn, how much is in the how much is in the contingency for this project?
Through you, I'm not talking putting this to contingency. I'm talking using sewer reserve, so clearly,
No, I'm aware. I just was asking how much is the contingency of this project?
I don't have that information.
Oh, not to you, Carolyn, it's just that I get the questions that I have to ask, is just, I can't direct them at you because you don't have the answer, right? Like, how long is the main line of the sewer? Like, is it the main line of the sewer replacement is 50 meters? How come we're just doing 50 meters? Why are we doing further out and so on and so forth? Like, that's the issue, the only kind of
So-
questions I have.
Through you, members of the committee, I would imagine that the request was put to me to come to you this evening because there's obviously isn't sufficient money in the contingency.
Sorry, you got it.
Sorry. I would suggest to you that they've asked me to come forward for this approval because there is not sufficient funds in the contingency in the project. As far as the length of the pipe, I do not know what it is. I can email that information to you. It is a project that was approved, was contained in the budget, and this is just a situation that arose. And instead of losing the $10,000 and doing a little strip that's a waste of time, this would come, we're hoping around 50, maybe less, but we'll have more information later, but it would,
So, is it an asphalt roadway or a chip roadway? There's a lot of questions.
Would council be okay if Ms. Lange got all that information through Mr. Julian and sent us an email tomorrow with all the details, information? I mean, it's not fair to the CEO, she don't have these answers,
And that's what I'm trying to say. It's not
And-
fair
and,
for us, like
yeah,
I said,
so-
we can't ask all those questions.
you know? Maybe you can get an email out to everybody with all the, okay, just hang on. Go ahead.
sorry, through you to members of the council. There is no Public Works meeting. This came at a very late time in the day. Mr. Brent Julian was not scheduled to be here this evening. I can get you the information. The objective here is to get this done before we can't do the paving and to save money in the long run. I can get you more details on it, but, you know, we're looking for this approval.
Okay. Mayor Jordan?
To be quite honest with you, I'm saying.
It's even a miracle that even the asphalt plants are still open. It's only because we've had such nice weather that the asphalt plant hasn't even closed yet. So that's the emergency here. That's why he's asking tonight, and he wasn't supposed to be here, Mr. Julian. But in fairness, he sent this report through to the CAO to get direction here tonight, and time is of the essence because we need to do this before the asphalt plant closes. Thank you.
the asphalt plans is, there's a $30,000 open the door charge.
Madam CEO, go ahead.
There is lots more information we need to get before we make a decision on how we proceed, but I can't proceed without authority from you. So what the outcome is at the end of the day, once they determine the state of the road, may mean that I do something differently, but if I have to do this, then I would have that authority. And that's what we're looking for, because of the weather.
Councilor Bergeron?
No, I was
Oh.
ready to start voting.
Sorry.
The
Councilor Trumbetta.
So, not that you're incorrect, Mayor, well, you are, but plants are, base asphalt is allowed to stay open. Okay, it's at the engineer's discretion, but the base asphalt can be placed up till December 24th.
Yep.
when the plants are closed. Top asphalt is different, it's 7 degrees and rising, so they can still have it in by the 24th. So the plant will not close. So obviously, so this recommendation came from Brent or the engineer out there? So this is another question, sorry, Karen. You don't have the answers, like, that's, it's not that you don't, but you.
So,
it's more-
if I may say, all that's being asked of us tonight is that we have a situation, Thompson Road. Ms. Langley's been asked to get authorization to spend $30,000 to $60,000 for the repairs if necessary. More information will follow, and we can follow up with Mr. Julian tomorrow or the next couple of days. If need be, we can call an emergency council meeting if that's what it takes to
And
get the
the
approval.
only reason why I'm bringing up these questions is because, you know, this gets approved tonight, that's fine, then we have.
No, we're not.
Then then we're gonna have other residents coming in, which we just had in the past, saying, well, this looked like another, we just need some proper answers to clarify. This is CO, that's.
Through you to members of the committee, he is getting information from the engineer. He does not have all the information he needs. I was coming to you tonight because of the urgency of this, and we still do need information, and how we're going to proceed will be determined. But if that's what we need to do, I needed that authority because I wasn't prepared to move without telling you what's going on. So that's all I'm looking for. I will report back what happened and what was done, but I'm looking for the authority to do it, otherwise I can't. And then we're stuck.
Okay, any more questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? Carries. Okay, confidential matters.
You should pass a motion to go beyond 11.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, okay, yeah, you're right, it's 10:30. Okay, can we get a motion to go past 11? Counselor Chichak, seconded by Counselor Bilsma. All in favor?
Well, only if you
Carried.
talk too much. I'll get our 5 minutes and then we're past 11.
Okay,
so.
so confidential matters. Item A, 109-17, acting CAO Clerk Carolyn Langley. Personal matters, CEO recruitment, acceptable closed session exemptions, personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees, labor relations, or employee negotiations. It's a verbal update. Need a mover? Mayor Joyner and Councilor Chichak. We're now in closed session.